financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to Law and Reality. Today's show, we're going to cover the squeeze for seniors and how to pursue a claim for disability. Pat Simasko's back with us. How are you, Pat?
Well, I had the Michigan pothole tax charge today. I blew my tire out hitting a pothole on 696 coming here. So other than that, it was
going to get better because we're fixing those roads.
There we are. I hope so.
Pat's our elder law expert, Jeff Kirshner. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back.
Jeff is a Social Security disability expert as well as workers' compensation. Brian Small, as always, good morning. It's nice to see you. I hope everything is well.
Good morning, Ken. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are going to rock in 2017. I want to start out today with this issue of the squeeze for seniors, and then we're going to talk with Pat on that issue, the first segment of the show. Second segment, we're going to focus with Jeff on how you actually go about doing a Social Security disability claim. All right, on the seniors, Pat, here's what Social Security. The increase this year in Social Security for seniors was 0.3%. The government uses the CPI index. There's actually a CPI index for the elderly that would have given them a 2.1% increase.
Right.
But no, you don't get to use that one.
Right.
You have to use the one that's for everybody. It results in a 0.3% increase.
Right.
Now, so that's your Social Security increase. What you told me about, and what we want to focus about is we're going to talk about how Medicare plays into this.
Federal. Every senior got their Christmas card from the federal government, which was their Medicare premiums are going to start going up, or a lot of them anyway.
Yeah,
that was a surprise.
Medicare, it's unbelievable what's going on, and here's how it works. The government office estimates how much money Medicare is going to be short every year, and they've determined they actually need a 22% increase.
Right.
But here's the problem. There's a provision called the hold harmless provision that says if you're elderly and your income is under $170,000 for a joint couple, $85,000 for an individual, you cannot be forced to increase your Medicare payment higher than your Social Security increase.
They can't decrease your Social Security just because your Medicare went up.
Yeah. So the result of that is this. If you're under that cap, your Medicare will go up equal to your Social Security increase, which means for those people that get the Social Security bump, you're not going to see any of that money because it's going to end up going to cover your increased Medicare costs.
Correct.
But there's a bigger problem because of all the people, that covers 70%. The other 30% are over that income barrier at $170,000. They have to absorb the 22% increase for everybody.
Right.
So that's talking about some major increases in Social Security. And
well, people are always
in Medicare costs.
Right. Well, people are wondering, well, my income isn't $170,000 or my income's not $85,000. Well, they're just looking at Social Security and pension, but the Medicare doesn't look at that. IRA distributions, capital gains tax issue. You sold your cottage, you have a capital gains tax. That's income.
They take your adjusted gross income and then they even modify it further to add in other aspects that wouldn't even be counted on your 1040 tax return.
Absolutely.
Let's set everyone to set the stage because this is a big problem that nobody talks about. You don't see it on CNN, you don't see it on Fox, you don't see it on NBC Nightly News. First of all, think about the seniors. This year you got a lousy 0.3% increase. The last 2 years prior to that, you got nothing. All of that was because the cost of gasoline went way down. Gasoline goes down, it drives down the consumer price index. And that's what your increase for your cost of living increase is based on. The problem is your rents didn't go down, they went up. The cost of eggs went up, the cost of milk went up, the cost of staple items goes up. You're getting screwed that way. in plain
Cost of
English.
health care went up.
Now, cost of health care goes up. You do have this Medicare thing. Okay, now if Medicare can go up to absorb your cost of living increase, which isn't what the cost of living increase should be because you're penalized because you're a senior and you don't use gasoline, you don't see any increase.
No.
At all.
Right.
So that causes seniors to come and have to see Brian a lot to deal with debt issues and other problems. But now let's talk about how big are these increases they're talking about for that other 30%.
Well, I'm going to tell you though, this is the tip of the iceberg, and you really can't plan for the 2016 increase because they looked at your income in 2014 and 2015. So this is the tip of the iceberg. 2018, it's going to be going up a lot higher. There's 5 different brackets for Medicare, and they have big brackets. Your income's got to go up a lot, and the increases aren't that much. In 2018, they're going to be shrinking those brackets, so the higher your income is,
the worse it's going to be.
Yeah, the smaller increases in your income, the higher the Medicare premium's going to be.
Yeah, but of course, isn't the argument that if you're making a couple $100,000 a year, you are more apt to be able to afford those Medicare increases versus somebody who's making $18,000 a year on Social Security?
No, I would not.
I would think that would be the argument.
That's what their argument. But the reality is this: the U.S. government, we're at $19 trillion right now. Who's borrowing all this money from the U.S. government? And everyone says it's China that's borrowing. It's not. It's Medicare.
It from China.
Medicare is loaning it to the U.S. government. Social Security is loaning it to the other. Every dollar that we put into Medicare and Social Security right now is loaned to the U.S. government to pay its debt. They have to pay that back. So the way that they can increase the Medicare premiums to reduce that liability is huge. They have to do it. They're taking our money from ourselves.
It's a big problem. Brian, you're making the point that if you're making $200,000, you can pay more into the system. The other argument is with regard to Medicare and Social Security that you've kind of paid for that right along the way. Social Security and Medicare weren't considered to be entitlements. They were considered to be earned by basis of your contribution into the system. For sure, on Social Security, you're getting screwed on the cost of living, and then if your cost of living increase is just going to pay your Medicare increase, you're not getting anywhere. When we come back from the break, Pat, tell us what we can do about the problem.
Right.
It's devastating, the effects of debt and foreclosure on you and your family. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem. Some fear the word bankruptcy, but in reality, it's a strategy to save your home and to eliminate debt. If you're in financial trouble, timing is critical. You need to take action now. We've been saving homes and eliminating debt for over 33 years.
Call Fav Gross 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross, our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Fav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Fav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Fav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Fav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Fav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
All right, welcome back. All right, so Pat, this Medicare increase, in a recent article in Investment News I looked at, is saying that if you're earning over $85,000 to $214,000, you're looking at $297 a month for Medicare as an estimate right now. Over $214,000 for a couple, it goes to $447 a month. Over $428,000, which granted is a lot of income, it's $1,229 a month, which puts you back to almost paying your normal health care costs. The question is this: what can you do? Is this something you have to take the expense, or is there something that you can do to reduce it?
Well, there's a lot of planning that you should do. First, younger people should look at, instead of investing in tax deferred like IRAs, invest in tax free like Roth IRAs or life insurance that comes out tax free that has like loan provisions. The second thing
that way you don't have the taxable income, so it's not counted.
It's only going to get
income.
worse. It's going to get worse. It'll never get better. The other thing you do is that you look at what your income is right now, Social Security and pension. And every senior says, I don't want to pull any money out of my IRA until I have to. You want to start pulling out of your IRA now to get you up to that income cap. Turn it into taxable money when you pull it out into tax-free money afterwards. So
by annuities.
Well, just you take it out of the IRA now in increments to get you up to that 85.
Pay the tax.
Yeah, pay the tax in chunks now. So when you are 70 and a half and you have to pull out more, or if you have to buy a car or your furnace goes out and you have to pull more money out, that's going to throw you in that higher bracket for Medicare.
All right, so if you're in that circumstance, that's something you do, that people can come in, meet with Pat, and you can figure out how to deal with reducing their Medicare exposure is what it really comes down to.
Every person that comes in, historically, is they should have been pulling money out of their IRAs right when they retire.
Which nobody wants to do.
No one wants to do it because they don't want to pay tax. But the reality is you want to look at the tax bracket. You want to always stay in the lowest tax bracket possible. Now you want to make sure that you're in a lower bracket for the Medicare premiums.
Yeah.
And
you got to almost go against your intuition because you don't want to take the money out because you don't want to pay the tax and you don't want to see the balance on that number going down because the balance is a security blanket.
Right. Right, but they don't realize that if they pass away, the kids inherit it, and they're at a lot higher bracket. They're paying taxes at a lot higher bracket anyway. So
you need to address this issue. Get together with Pat. He can lay it out and figure out the right strategy.
And finally, if you have a one-time bump, you sold your cottage, or you had to pull out a lot of money out of your IRA to pay off some loans or college for the kids or whatever, go back afterwards to Medicare and say, hey, I want my Medicare premium reduced.
Yeah, there's an appeal process to go through.
After that year, after that second year, go and ask that it get reduced because my income's
Nobody
a lot
knows
lower.
about the ability to do that.
But this is a lot of planning that you got to do now for the future. You can't wait last minute to do this.
Right, you
Absolutely.
should.
All right, now we're going to shift gears. We're shifting over to Jeff, and the reason on how to pursue a disability claim. Jeff was on the show I think about 2 months ago, and he also did a couple guest appearances on our radio shows. And we've gotten a ton of calls and people calling us since then. There's a lot of people with disability issues that don't have good direction on how to go about the process. So I thought we'd start covering Social Security disability issues in greater detail on the show. And fortunately, we've got Jeff here to help us do that. Now, there's Social Security income, Social Security supplemental income.
Supplemental Security income.
And there's also Social Security disability.
Correct.
Today I want to talk about Social Security disability. We'll deal with SSI on a different show because Social Security disability is the one that pays a greater benefit if you qualify.
Correct. It pays based on what you've put into the system, essentially.
Okay. Let's take a fictional character. Al will be our fictional character, and I want to walk through with you the steps Al has to make in order to file and pursue a disability claim. Let me give you his background. Al has a terrible back problem. He's in awful pain. It's made it to the point where it's either impossible to work or almost impossible to work, and his doctor agrees. He's only 50. He's been working as a W-2 employee for 25 years, working hard. He's married. He's got 2 kids. He's got a home, mortgage payment, car payments, credit card payments. He's just your normal American guy who works hard, and he's now got a blown out back, is what it comes down to.
Okay.
Is he eligible in those facts for Social Security disability?
Absolutely. Social Security disability, any Social Security benefits, are benefits for people who are unable to work for 12 months or longer.
And it looks like Al's going to be down for the count. His doc says it's going to be longer than a year.
Sure. So even if you're not off of work for 12 months when you apply, they look at the totality of your disability. If it's going to apply when you're off for 6 months, if it's anticipated that the duration of the disability will be 12 months or longer, then you are eligible for those benefits.
So in that circumstance, Al comes to you, he should take steps to apply for.
Correct. You can either do it online, you can go to the local Social Security office. I do it routinely for my clients. I do the application process. The initial application is complicated. It takes a while to apply.
Even before the application, what's this thing about earned credits they talk about? I know Al is a W-2 employee, he's been working for 25 years, so is he for sure going to have the money paid into the system that he'd be eligible for Social Security disability?
Yes, they look at what's called the disability onset date, whatever the date you became disabled. And based on that
if he's been
date,
working for 25 straight years,
he's going to be fine because you had to have worked in at least 5 of the past 10 years from the date you became disabled, or they break down a year into 4 quarters, so 20 of the past 40 quarters you had to have earned credits, which is about $1,100 or thereabouts for a 3-month period of time in order to earn a credit.
So the Al that has a problem is the Al that's been working 25 years on the side for cash jobs. He doesn't get a W-2. He doesn't report his income, which he should do. He hasn't paid in any Social Security either through self-employment or through his employment. That guy has a problem.
Correct,
right?
because you can only earn credit based on what the federal government has registered that you've paid in as taxes.
All right, but Al has paid in, so he's eligible. His first step is he's going to file an application. He can do it online. He can do it at a Social Security office, right?
Correct.
What if Al was injured at work, and so he's getting workman's compensation? Is he still eligible to file for Social Security disability?
I handle those claims all the time. Absolutely, you're eligible for Social Security and workers' compensation.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll stay right on that issue.
Sure.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you're approaching retirement and don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your investments, and your savings. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Putting a solid strategy in place with Samasco Law legally protects your assets as well as your wishes. Since a will doesn't cover you medically or financially, Samasco Law goes beyond ordinary asset management protection to safeguard everything you have.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us Tuesdays noon to 1 and 6 to 7 p.m. on Law and Reality Live on WCHB 1200 AM 99.9 FM. And on Thursdays from 3 to 4 with Cliff Russell on Law and Reality Now on 9:10 a.m. We have a couple seminars coming up. Wednesday, February 1st from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. This resolution counts. I'm getting out of debt now. You know, we do all these New Year's resolutions. Some of them mean something, some of them don't. This one counts, and you want to make good on it. The seminar is going to focus on how to preserve future income for you and your family so that you start saving money rather than just giving it to the credit card companies month to month. You need to have something to retire with. It's a long-term view. That's what you need to focus on. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. You can sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or call 888-235-HELP. You can always call the old-fashioned way. Wednesday, February 15th from 6 o'clock to 7:30 p.m., Pat's going to join us for a seminar. Mom needs to go into the nursing home, and I don't know what to do. Help me. This is going to be a seminar that focuses primarily on Medicare planning, Medicaid planning, with respect to when you go into a nursing home, you're looking at $9,000 to $12,000 a month of expense. It's going to wipe out all of your savings unless you do the proper planning. Pat is the guru on doing that. Either Pat and Jim Simasko, both of them from Simasko Law, they've made their careers on it. They are the best. They are going to cover and walk us through those steps. I'm going to talk about basic estate planning. Brian's going to talk about debt issues for the elderly. All of our seminars are free. Again, that one's on Wednesday, February 15th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Sign up same way, thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Also want to remind our viewers that at Thav Gross, you can always come in for a free consultation. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online and sign up on either website, lawandreality.com or thavgross.com. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning, business issues, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeff. Just sign up, come on in, we'll straighten you out, give you your options, lay out a plan for you. Also, take a look at the website, and we have 3 free reports: Business Formation, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit, Pat's Retiree's Guide to Social Security, and How to Save Your Home with Regulation X. The reports are free. You just download them off of the websites, thavgross.com, lawandreality.com. Now back to the show.
It's devastating, the effects of debt and foreclosure on you and your family. There is a solution.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem. Some fear the word bankruptcy, but in reality, it's a strategy to save your home and to eliminate debt. If you're in financial trouble, timing is critical. You need to take action now. We've been saving homes and eliminating debt for over 33 years.
Call Thav Gross, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Simasko Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Simasko Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
All right, welcome back. All right, so when it came to the break, Brian, you asked the question of if you have a workers' compensation claim going on for your work-related disability or injury, should you still be applying for Social Security disability as well?
Absolutely. If you're going to be off for 12 months or longer, I encourage it. There's other benefits that can be had. Even if there is an interplay between the both and offset, there's more benefits to you. You should apply for both.
All right, here's what the application stage, you can do it online, do it at the office. A lot of people do it on their own. I've always been of the belief that that's the time to see an attorney, and a lot of times the commercials you see on TV say, have you been denied Social Security disability? In my mind, you should be in there with the lawyer at the application stage so you don't answer the questions in a way that's going to hurt you down the road. Am I right about that?
We've always been told to don't call the lawyer until after you've been denied. That's what I tell my clients. I never realized that there was any other way.
Right, and I find it to be a mistake because going to what you're talking about here, even at the application process, it's tedious. There's a lot of information they want, whether it be about work history, whether it be about medical, that it's much better to talk to an attorney to fill out the application properly.
So
to
if they
begin
call
with.
you to do that, is there a fee for that?
There's no fee whatsoever unless we're successful. So there's no cost to come in and meet with me.
Yeah, here's my point. It's just, I don't know why all the commercials say, have you been denied disability? If you're disabled and you're injured and you're thinking about applying for disability, you should be seeing the disability attorney. Is it because they don't want to some attorneys probably don't want to handle the application?
A lot of attorneys that don't want to handle the application. Other people are afraid that when they go in, if we apply and somehow we're successful, that they're going to have to pay a fee. Well, my fee is only based on the past monies anyway, and there are not a lot of past monies due if you get denied on the initial
And it's the
phase.
government that pays the fee.
Correct.
Doesn't affect the amount that the person gets.
Correct. So it's always important to start the process properly. It's hard to readjust once the process
Wait,
starts.
All right,
The client doesn't get a reduction in their benefit by paying the lawyer a fee?
It comes off of any back benefits that are owed to them, but there's not going to be much owed in terms of your initial application. And once that initial fee is paid, once they're on monthly benefits after that, I don't take a piece of that. That all goes to the client, so there's no fee for that.
So it's really, the key is getting the application process and the appeal process approved, and a lot of people lose along the way.
Well, yeah, let's
Now, you
quick
go-
question. How many people get
How long-
denied in the first shot?
Oh my God, 80, 90% get denied
So-
right
And
away.
how long does it take for that process from the application to finding out whether you're approved or denied?
So after the initial application, ballpark
The
2 to 4
numbers.
months.
2 to 4 months? All right, so then the next step is you have to file for a disability appeal.
Correct.
All right, now at that point, what's your time frames? How long do you have to file for your appeal?
You have 60 days from when you get that denial letter to
So that's
file
not
an
a lot
appeal.
of time.
Correct.
So at that point, if you have a lawyer already like you, then it's easy for the person because they come back to you, you know the file, you get the rest of the medical information up to
And
date.
actually-
You file it?
Actually, they don't even have to come to my office again because I've already met with them. I have the information. I do it right there without them even being there. I take care of the disability appeal.
Now, if they don't have an attorney, though, they can still come to you or somebody else. But the point is, from the time you get that denial letter, you've got to move fast. You've got to find the right attorney. You got to get in. You got to get that process in. If you blow the 60 days, do you get an extension?
No, you got to start all over from the beginning again.
All right. So tell me about the hearing. So you file the appeal. Then there's a hearing.
Correct.
Is this a hearing in person? You're in front of an administrative law judge? What happens at the hearing?
Correct. So you get your hearing 12 to 14 months later with an administrative law judge near where you live. It's a hearing about your ailments, about your problems. My role in that is I make certain they have all your medicals. So I'm able to go look at your entire file. I request all the updated records. I do a
Does
brief.
the person have to testify?
Absolutely, they have
So
to
you
testify.
need to prepare them for the testimony.
So they come to my office once or twice even to prepare just to discuss what's going to be said.
Here's my point: is you need to be. It's like any process where you have a lawyer and you have a lawsuit. You need to have confidence in your attorney. You need to have spent time with your attorney, and your future income depends on the attorney doing the right job. It's not something that you can do on your own. You can try, and the law allows you to do it on your own. You want to know why? Because they want you to mess it up so that they can deny the benefit, so that the government saves the money, so that the deficit doesn't grow any bigger. That's the way our government works. It's not ideal, but that's the truth. You want to do it the right way, you need someone like Jeff who understands the case, takes it one step at a time, and makes sure that it's done right. So after you go through that hearing, how long does it take for a result?
Usually about 60 days or so to get a written decision.
And then that's the time where you're looking for the approval, right?
Correct.
Jeff, Pat, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next
Thanks
week.
for having us.